Hi, I'm Streaky from Streaky.com, and today I'm going to tell you why you're overthinking everything. So I get asked loads of questions. Obviously, Fridays I do Q&A. If you've been watching and paying attention, then you'll know that. So some of those questions are really complex, and I think that a lot of the times I'll answer people just straight away in the comments because they're usually overthinking things too much. Now, the main thing that happens is I'm a mastering engineer. I'm not a mix engineer, but a lot of people these days are trying to be everything, and they're trying to be a mix engineer and a mastering engineer. And mixing, there are more complexities to mixing than mastering. And that's why everybody has always said mastering is a dark art, because they can't get their head around the fact that you're not doing as much as you do at mixing. So they think when they've given it to you as a mix, because they've gone into such detail on all these little instruments and balance and all this kind of stuff, that when it comes to mastering, you're going to do something that's similar, and they don't really understand what else you could do from that. But really, it's so basic and simple. That's the thing you can't get your head around, because you're overcomplicating it so much in your mind because of where you've come from and because you're thinking about every individual instrument in itself. And you really shouldn't be doing that. You're thinking of, I say it all the time, the veneer of it, the outside of it. Think of your car stereo. Treble, bass. More treble, less treble. More bass, less bass. That's all I'm doing. That is all I'm doing as a mastering engineer. I know I'm simplifying it here, but it is really that simple. In a little bit more of a complex way, if you like, but that's the basic premise. That is mastering, basically. You're doing mastering when you're in your car turning the treble and bass up. Okay, then let's get a little bit more complex. Then people are saying to me, okay, do you do different sections for different things? And how about the mids? So surely you're multi-band compressing that snare drum at that point, and then the highs are doing this. And then what are you doing? You're just mixing something again. It's too much. You're overthinking it so much. It's mental. If you're going to the extreme side of mastering, where it is at the super high end, so you get a mix in from a really top producer. He knows what he's doing. He's got it mixed. He's got it sounding exactly how he wants it. All you're doing as a mastering engineer there is getting it up to the same level if it needs it, and maybe adding, say, half a dB at 20k or a little 1 dB at 60, just 60 hertz. Just give it a little boost. Back to your car stereo, top and bottom. So it's like, that's what you're doing when it's like working on really high-end stuff. That's kind of where you're at. But to get to knowing to be able to do just those little tweaks, that's the hard bit. Taking yourself away and uncomplicating it in your mind to get to that point is why you are a professional mastering engineer at the top level. Now, coming back down to somebody who's mixed something in their bedroom and they're, the other end of the scale from that top mix engineer, it comes to mastering, you've got to do a lot more to the track to get it to be nearer so it can sit in the same world as that high-end mix engineer thing. You're never going to get it right to that point, because through the stages of recording, mixing, all that stuff, it's already got to the point where it's sounding great, and so mastering's just adding something a little bit better. So it's all, to get your stuff that you've done in your bedroom that's been recorded on a bad mic and with not a lot of knowledge and not very good plugins, not work very well, or no analog gear, it's never going to kind of get to here. But what you have to do as a mastering guy is you go in at it and you turn it up to a level, and then you start just using EQ just to push it. But you're not doing like loads and loads of EQ and loads of fine little tweaks at this point and that point and loads of little spiky bits and pulling it down here. That's just so much more than you need to do. And so stop overcomplicating it in your mind. It's like people will go on about the transients and the way that this compressor does this on the low end and this. And it's like, yeah, okay, things do happen like that. But I never, ever have thought like that. I'm a real I go for it. I'm like a piano player who hasn't been taught how to read music. So I'm just going for it. I know how this sounds. I know where I want to go. And then I start moving to that point. So first of all, you're getting the levels up. You start pushing like a little bit of EQ on the top, like you're in your car again, to kind of get yourself in the ballpark of where you want to be. And then you can go into sort of details of, okay, maybe this compressor has a bit more warmth to it. But you're not really smashing the compressor to death. You're just gently touching it and caressing it. You're at the stage where you're just doing nice long curves on things and just making it so it's all nice and easy to get yourself to this point so that it's loud and open and stuff. And I know I sound like I'm making it all sound so easy and so basic, but it really is. It really is. But to get yourself to that level where you can understand how basic and how easy it needs to be, and that's the hard bit if you're the mix engineer, to be able to then go into this mindset of not listening to the individual instruments and not doing different compression settings and different types of plugins and having 50 plugins on your whole session. You've probably got like 3 when you're mastering plugins if you're in the box, or 4, or some outboard gear you're trying not to use that for. You want to get away with using one of them. And so it's that kind of mindset that is, when I get these comments on the YouTube about all these little intricacies, I know that they're not coming from the right place, and they need to sort out their head, and they need to stop overthinking it, and they need to calm down, and they need to just basically, if you are going to master stuff for yourself, you need to leave it a few days and then come at it with a mindset of, I don't need to do anything. But that is easier said than done. Just don't overthink it. You're overthinking everything, and I'm sure that's exactly the same for when you're recording. I'm sure it's the same for when you're mixing, and you're just trying to use everything you've got, and you're slamming everything down, and it doesn't have to be as hard as that. It really doesn't have to be as hard as that. If you're recording my voice singing, then you've got to just make sure the mic's right, the mic's set up correctly, it's a really clear signal, and you're trying to reproduce the sound of my voice. And then the same with an instrument. If I was playing that, reproduce that sound, put effects on it if you need to, but don't overdo it. It's like, just keep things simple. Stop thinking too hard. And I think I've kind of said all I want to say really on that. Just stop overthinking it. To be really harsh, it's a kind of amateur mindset to overthink anything to do with recording, mixing and all that. You've got to kind of try and do as least as you can, and that kind of makes a better sound, and it also makes you a better engineer. I hope that's helped. If you'd like me to master for you, there is a code below where it gives you a discount if you've made it this far in the video and not had enough of my ranting. If you like this kind of thing and you like pro audio stuff, you like speaker reviews, giveaways, things like that, I have a newsletter on my website, streaky.com. Go sign up there. It's once a month. You can get a chance to win some different headphones or speakers or whatever I'm giving away that month, and discounts from different plugins and things that I can't show you on YouTube that I can talk about and show you on that newsletter. It's only once a month, so go to streaky.com, sign up. Till next time, thanks for watching. Bye.